They called him Ranger, not because he belonged to any one man, but because he belonged to all of them. Ranger was a military working dog, a trained bomb sniffer whose sharp nose had saved countless lives. But to one soldier in particular, he was more than just a partner. He was family. From the very first day, that soldier and Ranger moved together like shadows, one watching the other, both protecting each other. The soldier would joke, "You're my backup." And though Ranger couldn't speak, he always seemed to answer with those steady amber eyes. Always. In the heat of patrols, where the air carried tension you could taste, Ranger was calm, methodical. He knew his job. And when the days were long and the sand clung to every stitch of clothing, Ranger's quiet presence was a reminder that they weren't alone. Then came the last mission. It was supposed to be routine, just another sweep. Another day making sure the path ahead was safe. Ranger worked the way he always did, nose low, ears alert, tail still. The soldier's hand would tap his shoulder now and then, a silent, "I'm here." But somewhere between the dust and the silence, Ranger's partner didn't come back. There were no loud goodbyes, no final pat on the head, just a moment when Ranger looked over his shoulder. And the man who had always been there wasn't. The unit finished their tour. Ranger came home, but home didn't feel the same. Every day, at the same hour their patrols used to start, Ranger would walk to the base gate. He would sit and wait, his eyes scanning every face that passed. Soldiers would try to coax him away, some with treats, some with gentle tugs at his leash, but Ranger wouldn't move. Not until the day's light began to fade. Only then would he quietly return to his kennel, curl up, and close his eyes, as if he were just resting before tomorrow's patrol. Weeks turned into months, and still, every day, Ranger waited at that gate. People began to notice. New recruits would ask about the dog at the entrance. Veterans would shake their heads softly, their voices low. "He's waiting for his partner." You see, dogs don't measure time like we do. They don't count days on a calendar. They don't mark the seasons. They only know the presence or the absence of the ones they love. And for Ranger, absence was not a reason to stop waiting. He had learned that a soldier always comes back, and he would be there when his did, even if the world knew otherwise. There's a quiet kind of heroism in that. Not the kind with medals or speeches, but the kind that lives in the steadfast heart of a dog who refuses to give up. Ranger's story isn't just about loss. It's about loyalty that doesn't fade, even when the reason for it is gone. It's a reminder that love, pure, unquestioning, and unshakable, can outlast the hardest goodbyes. Some say one day Ranger simply stopped going to the gate. Others believe that, in his own way, he finally understood. But maybe, just maybe, he saw his soldier again, somewhere we can't see. And maybe that's why, when the gate stood empty, Ranger could finally rest. Because for dogs like Ranger, the mission is never really over. It just changes. And love remains.